Hey everyone, it's Dove Film with an I as in I am about to badly explain my OC story so that way you don't have to be deciphering my animatics for answers. If you haven't watched those yet, I highly recommend you do. A playlist is available on my channel for easy binging. As a disclaimer, this story does involve themes of violence. More detailed content warnings will be in the description if needed, but if you want to go in blind, then I won't keep you here any longer. We start off with Samuel committing an act of typical INTP hubris and thinking it's a good idea to try and make a sentient android. This is an action that will have no negative consequences. Good news, it works. Bad news, the android, Nerva, realizes that this man is a series of red flags and that leaving your existence in the hands of humans is a bad idea and dips. She runs into this girl, Ash, who wants to be the main character really badly and bothers Nerva until she agrees to let Ash help her. Now they're both on the run from police. We cut back to Sam, who is freaking out because the thing he's been working on for years just up and left. He now proceeds to do the rational thing and obsess over this while completely ignoring his pregnant wife, Rose. This is an action that will have no negative consequences. Ash and Nerva try to seek help from multiple people, but pretty much everyone is more interested in using Nerva in some way. Ash responds by starting fights with these people and doesn't understand why Nerva, who says that all she wants is to be left alone, wants to avoid drawing attention to the two of them and be left alone. In a twist surprising nobody, authorities are no help and Sam decides to go off the deep end. He takes matters into his own hands and ends up threatening our duo. Nerva just wants to get out of there, but Ash is not listening to her at all. Nerva is like, "Can you please stop getting into fights with every person we see because this is really dangerous for me." Ash responds that she's just trying to be a good person and Nerva is like, "I do not think that consistently ignoring what I'm telling you in order to help me in some way is actually being a good person." "It is though I have a source," says Ash. She does not have a source. So they basically break up. Not really, because they weren't even really friends at that point, but they basically broke up. Then this is the part where I forgot I had to come up with a cohesive storyline because originally this was going to be a graphic novel and at this point was where I stopped outlining and switched to just making a YouTube series. Sorry. Oops. But in summary, Ash realizes that maybe she did mess up and starts being normal again. The government looks at Nerva and decides that this one specific android can have rights because she's basically a person. This does not count for other androids. This is an action that will have no negative consequences and is definitely not sequel bait. We cut back to our favorite messy marriage and they are having the worst time ever. Rose thinks that being a single parent would be way more tolerable than the entire plot of all this and decides to cut her losses and asks for a divorce. Sam, who has a history of being a well-adjusted person, does the only logical thing and threatens to off himself, hoping it would make her feel bad and she'd stay. Unfortunately, if you watched any gun safety PSA, you would understand that pulling a gun in any situation is very unsafe, and the altercation results in Rose being shot instead. I'm sure that Sam takes total responsibility for what he does and tries to get better. Ha ha. No, he doesn't. He passes it off as being a suicide and everyone somehow believes him. At least I'm sure he does a good job raising their only child. This is also sequel bait, sorry. Ash and Nerva reconcile though, so at least someone has a happy ending here. What happens next? Well, that's a question that'll have to be answered in our second act, and that'll happen when I find songs that fit the situation well enough to warrant making animatics.